One of the goals of Aperture's analysis and reconstruction was to determine the location and timing of certain text stream events, correct?
Correct.
EDR data.
I'm sorry, my role.
Your role, yes. EDR, and just for clarification, EDR is Event Data Recorder, correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to refer to that, as you have before, as EDR, Event Data Recorder.
Sounds good.
EDR data does not show the location associated with a text stream event, correct?
In this particular vehicle, it does not.
And the EDR data for this particular vehicle, namely the Lexus SUV, also does not provide the time associated with a text stream event, correct?
Not at the time of this event.
So the answer is no, correct?
That is not correct.
So let me ask the question slightly different way. The EDR data does not provide the time. The EDR data for the Lexus SUV that you've been talking about does not provide the time associated with a text stream event, correct?
That is correct.
Instead, every text stream event is associated with a particular key cycle on the vehicle, right?
Correct.
There can be multiple text stream events in a single key cycle, right?
Correct.
And every time you start the car, this one you push the button, that's a new key cycle, right?
That will cause a key cycle.
And the EDR data indicates the number of seconds into the key cycle that the particular event occurred, correct?
The EDR data, no.
So EDR data gives you no information about the number of seconds into the key cycle that a particular event occurred.
You're confusing EDR data and text stream.
I'm not, sir, I'm just
Are you not?
asking a question.
So
if it's yes or no, I'm fine with that.
EDR data will, depending on the vehicle, sometimes it has information about GPS date and time. Sometimes it has ignition cycles, which are a little bit different than key cycles, which is why you frequently have different ignition cycles versus key cycles in EDRs compared to text stream.
So let me ask it a different way.
Okay.
The text stream data indicates the number of seconds into the key cycle that a particular event occurs.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
In order to properly determine the location and the timing of a text stream event, it's important that you correctly identify the trip that is associated with a particular key cycle, correct?
I think I'm going to say yes, that text stream tells you the trip.
I'm just asking if it's important that you correctly identify the trip associated with a particular key cycle. And do so by determining, in order to properly determine the location and timing of a text stream event.
So the text stream tells you the trigger event and it tells you the key cycle. So I'm not determining that, I'm reading that from the text stream data.
Okay. So in order to properly read, to use your verb, the location and timing of a text stream event, it's important that you correctly identify the trip that is associated with a particular key cycle. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's a fair statement.
If you associate the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of when the text stream event occurred will be wrong, correct?
It can. I mean, you need to take the totality of the evidence in the text stream with the mileage, the overall timing into account.
So are you saying, sir, that if you have the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, you can get the correct text stream event?
No, not necessarily. Again, you have to take the totality of the data.
My question is with regard to if you have the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of when the tech stream event occurred will also be wrong. Isn't that just a matter of logic, sir?
So, again, the tech stream event tells you the trip and it tells you the time. If you're saying I'm, say, associating that with the wrong infotainment information or vice versa, then that would be wrong. But the tech stream data tells you how much time is associated with each trip. There's no difference there.
If you associate the wrong trip with the wrong key cycle, then your estimate of where the tech stream event occurred will be wrong. Is that correct?
You can't associate the wrong event with the wrong key cycle because it keys in the key cycle with the event.
Let me try it a different way. Your analysis, or anyone's analysis, in conclusions regarding the timing and the location of the tech stream data are only as good as your ability to correctly associate a key cycle with a particular event. Is that an accurate statement?
No. Again, you need to take the totality of the data. So that is one element. You need to look, for example, at the mileage. You need to look at the timing of the events. So this is considered a tool in the analysis process. You need to look at the totality of data to see how it matches up with the physical evidence.
So are you saying that you can have an incorrect key cycle with a particular trip, but you can still get accurate timing and location of tech stream data?
So again, you don't get incorrect key cycle with the trip. The trip and the key cycle are coded in by the tech stream. If you are attributing an event to the wrong trip, which has a fixed key cycle, that could be a problem.
Exactly. So if we could go, if Your Honor, if we could publish a slide, please, that is in evidence.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are we looking at?
Pardon me,
What
Your-
slide number?
I've got slide 9. Mr. Wolk, yes, I've got the correct one. Thank you, Your Honor. So I'm going to use the acronym VCH that you've used on your, do you recall using the acronym VCH on your direct testimony?
Yes, sir.
And VCH stands for Vehicle Control History, correct?
Correct.
You viewed the vehicle control history on September 23rd of 2024, correct?
In addition to the PCS data.
You viewed the vehicle control history on September 23rd, 2024. Yes?
That is yes.
You took photographs of the vehicle control history, including key cycle 1167?
Correct.
And in this screenshot, we can see 4 tech stream events that
Actually,
are...
can you zoom in on the key cycle?
Oh, sure.
Because I think when I got to, no, scroll. So when I got to it, you can see it was that key cycle 1264. The blue highlight was the last file that was written on key cycle 1167.
Right.
So to answer your question, I got it at 1264.
So if we can go back so we can see the 4 tech stream events, I just want to reestablish the foundation here. In this screenshot, we can see 4 tech stream events that are associated with key cycle 1167, correct?
Correct.
But isn't it true, Dr. Welcher, that there were actually 10 tech stream events associated with just that one key cycle 1167?
Correct. I gave you the original files.
Right. So you are aware that the Commonwealth had maintained up into your firm's engagement that...
Are you saying there's no basis for the question? All right, I'm going to allow the question and I'll hear it.
You are aware that the Commonwealth has maintained up until your engagement in September of 2024 that all tech stream events associated with key cycles 1164, 1165, and 1167 occurred while the Lexus was in the custody of the Massachusetts State Police at the Canton Police Department.
Okay.
So the objection sustained. You need a foundation, Mr. Alessi.
Sir, as part of your work in your review of the many documents that you referenced on your direct examination, did you review the text stream events associated with the Lexus SUV?
I reviewed the one I downloaded.
Pardon me?
I reviewed the one I downloaded.
Right, and did that, what you download, include key cycles 1164? Did it include that?
It did.
Did it include 1165?
It did.
And did it include 1167?
It did. It did not include 1166.
I didn't mention 1166, sir. I only mentioned 1164, 1165, and 1167. I purposefully skipped because I didn't understand you had reviewed it. So here's my question. You therefore, based upon the fact that you reviewed them, and you said it's important to understand timing, etc. That's very important in your forensic analysis, correct?
Yes, sir.
So let's go to the timing question and you understand where the Lexus has been at various points in time. You testified to that in direct, whether it was at the Canton Police Department, whether it was being towed, correct?
In addition to having Mr. Burgess' analysis of the data.
In addition to Mr. Burgess' analysis, so in that analysis contained locations of where the Lexus had been.
It contained where it had been, and it also include date and time, when it was turned on, when it was turned off.
Exactly. So not only did you have all the locations, you had dates and times associated with the location where the SUV, the Lexus SUV, had been, correct?
Correct.
Now to the question. Based upon that review, that knowledge, that understanding, those bases, you're aware, and you've reviewed, by the way, Trooper Paul's reports, correct?
I have.
There were two reports of Trooper Paul. There was his original CARS report and then a supplemental report that were listed in the documents you reviewed. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but I'll take your word for it.
I don't want you to have to take my word. Do you recall, sir,
No, I
that
don't.
there were do you recall that there was a report of Trooper Paul?
Yes,
Okay, and you read that report, I assume, sir?
I did.
And it would be important for you to read that report and read it carefully because it addressed the subject matter that you were addressing, correct?
No, I did my own independent analysis. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be more important that I don't do that to avoid confirmational bias.
But you did read Trooper Paul's report,
Of
correct?
course.
So, you therefore are aware that the Commonwealth has maintained up into your engagement.
Yeah. I'm going to see a tie bar on this.
Are you aware that over the course of the Commonwealth's and your investigation into this case, that the theorized time of the alleged contact of the SUV?
So there's two words, just strike theorized.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Are you aware that over the course of the Commonwealth's investigation and your...
Hold on, Mr. Alessi. The court reporter can't hear you.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you.
I'll object again to the question that's coming.
Can I
Go
begin
ahead
my
and
question?
Ask an appropriate question, Mr. Alessi.
Sure. Do you have knowledge whether there is one time or more than one time for the Commonwealth's position, as you know it from reading documents that you said you've reviewed, that there are different times alleged for the incident to have occurred at 34 Fairview?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask the question, remove part of it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
You have to remove part of that sentence.
Okay, understood, Your Honor. Do you know whether there is more than one time that has been proposed by the Commonwealth for the impact alleged to have occurred at 34 Fairview?
Objection.
Sustained.
I'm going to ask for an instruction.
I'm not giving the instruction now.
Dr. Welcher, in terms of the analyses that you have reviewed in this case, is there one time that you understand there to be for a hypothesis for the time of the impact at 34 Fairview?
Objection.
I'm going to see you again, folks. I'm sorry about this.